Brodes Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. Unfortunately, I'm sitting here recording the 24 hours later pod. That's right, 24 hours after you get eliminated from the postseason playoff pod. It's a disgrace. Horrendous. And there's so many things that we need to touch on today. There's a lot, all right? I sat on this all day long. It's all I could think about. There was nothing else happening inside my head. It was 24/7. Well, what if they did this? What if they did that? Why did this occur? What is Rob doing? And the number one blame here is the players. The number one blame is fully on the players. Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, JT Realmuto. Don't forget, Alec Boehm was not good for a long time. One home run does not change the fact that he was miserable behind Bryce Harper for protection, and the manager decided to stay with that. One home run does not change the fact that you were unsuccessful in a lot of these games to close it out when you were up 2-0, when you were up 3-2 with 2 home games left. It's so ridiculous that happened. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Part of me wonders if I was in so much disbelief that I was unaware of what we were really talking about. Now, as we're 24 hours later, it's settling in. It seems I pushed a certain button. And when I say that the Phillies are better, that upsets people. Let me make this very clear. The Phillies are better. If the Diamondbacks lost that in 6 or 7, what would you all think out there in Arizona? What would the national media say? Very simple. They ran into a better team. They were an 84-win team. They just weren't ready yet. They put up a good fight. There's a reason why. And if you say, well, it happens all the time in this sport. And if it didn't, the Orioles would probably still be alive. The Atlanta Braves wouldn't have lost to the Phillies. The Dodgers would still be competing. And you're right. If those fan bases don't think that they lost to a worse team, then they are unaware of this sport. Yes, the Braves should be extremely disappointed thinking that they lost to a team that was worse than them. Absolutely. If not, you are a failure of a fan. The heartbreak sucks, but unfortunately, this is what we sign up for as fans. And you have to live in it. When it goes wrong, it goes wrong. We are in a huge funk right now of getting super close, playing with greatness, flirting around for it, or with it, excuse me, but then you pay for it. You take a hard loss, and the entire city eats it. And that's where we are. And I embrace that because it hurts due to the fact that you're so close. And today's not the day for the big overhead view, and that sounded like I was going in that direction. But this is why it hurts. It's because you're right there. And really, you're probably the best team standing when you look at both CSs, the ALCS, the NLCS. You thought the Phillies had one of the best chances because, man, their starting pitching was no joke. You got electric stuff. And, yeah, you were tearing the cover off the ball, but you had nasty, nasty, elite level. Wow, you got to be kidding me. These stats line up with Sandy Koufax level of pitching. But somehow, the offense just died. The batteries done. And it happened so quickly. So I guess we have to turn our attention to the winter sports. And hey, if you're looking to go to the Wells Fargo Center, if you're looking to go to any concerts, you can utilize promo code Brodes at TickPick And if you spend over $100 on tickets, which is very simple to do in today's world, the tickets are up there, I can give you an extra $10 your way by utilizing the promo code Brodes. And they have the best price guarantee. You know you're going to get fantastic value. And they know it too, so much so that they know, they are very confident, they guarantee it, that they will beat any of the major competing marketplaces. And if you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, they give you 110% of the price difference in the form of TickPick credit. And they also have upfront pricing, so no more doing math when you're sitting there trying to figure out, how much extra that you'd have to plan on spending. No. On top of the listed price, all that garbage, it is the price at the very end, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. TickPick, promo code Brodes. Okay, I said this a lot yesterday, but I want to reiterate it. The number one reason why you lost this baseball game was Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, even Bryce Harper. And it sucks to hear him wear it on his shoulders the way that he did afterwards, saying he let this city down, he let the fans down, because we all saw it. Those two fastballs needed to be crushed. And knowing Bryce Harper in the postseason over the last 2 years, he's been Mr. Clutch. He's been Mr. Moments. He's been put on the spotlight because, Bedlam at the bank. Bryce Harper, the swing of his life. That's what Bryce Harper has become. So to watch one go right by him, I almost fainted right there, right in the middle of the action. I almost collapsed to my knees and smacked my head on the coffee table because I couldn't believe it. And then he pops up. Oh, man. And I saw a stat from Jason Stark, okay? If you go back to that 7th inning, he says, how close did Bryce Harper come to another Bedlam at the bank moment on the ball that he hit in the 7th last night at 107.6 miles per hour? He put 60 balls in play this season and postseason at 107 miles per hour or harder. He's hitting 763 on those balls with 15 home runs. Oh, it's tragic. Oh, man. Pisses me off. But the number one reason why you lost this game was on your stars. With that said, and this is where we get into the Rob Thompson angle, and I also want to make this very clear, so when you're listening later on and you say, man, it really sounds like you're killing Rob Thompson here and you're crushing him, I think Rob Thompson has the tools to be a very good manager. I do. I think he could be a very good manager, and I think a lot of what he has done has worked out. He's not perfect, but he's very strong, and he connects with his players. Now, unfortunately, he goes so overboard with the I believe in you thing, it costs him, and it backfires. It works, but it also backfires, and I think him staying true the entire time. Part of coaching is making adjustments. Part of coaching is having tough conversations that aren't easy this time of the year. Now, it doesn't look like Taijuan Walker is handling things nicely. If you didn't see, he's out there tweeting about how they mismanaged this thing, and he's liking tweets that are blasting Rob Thompson's decisions. Not a good look, and that's a side story for another day. You signed him as a big free agent. He's here to eat some innings, and then all of a sudden he despises the one guy that it seems like everybody in that clubhouse really, really enjoys to the next level. Part of coaching is on the fly. It's not smooth. What do you do in those positions? And even though Alec Boehm hit a home run to tie it up in Game 7, maybe if you're more willing to protect Bryce Harper, then you're not even in a Game 7 to begin with. It was a lot of weirdness to me. Even going back to Game 6, they punted. They punted the baseball game, let Rojas hit when they were down. The guy can't hit. It's very, very clear the guy can't hit right now. You are down in a baseball game in Game 6. Oh, we have another day. Don't worry about it. We'll roll the ball out tomorrow and get another crack at it. No way the Diamondbacks win 4 of 5. Well, just like I was wrong, you were wrong. You waved the white flag there. You pitched to Marte with an open bag. Kerkering is waving the white flag. And even the Game 4 thing. A lot of people are upset with Craig Kimbrell right now, and I thought it was unfair to boo him the way he was booed going onto the field. This guy is a journeyman's pro, okay? You know he doesn't have a lot left in the tank, regardless on what team he's on. Now he's getting pushed into one game away from the World Series. The dude ran out of juice. He's an all-star in this league. He's a veteran. He's a clubhouse guy, all that. He's been around a lot, and he's got a ton of saves. I think he tried. Like, he grabs the ball, and he wants the moment. He's there. He's just running out of fuel. It's just what it is. The reason why you even backed yourself into a corner to be forced to throw him in Game 4 was because you turned what was an advantage in Christopher Sanchez versus a bullpen game into an even competition. So you're supposed to elevate your team and give them the step up and manage correctly, but instead you're taking what you have as an advantage and removing it from the game, going to a bullpen game, and then forcing yourself to have to use someone like that you know just isn't usable currently. That's awful. And the more and more I think about Rojas in the fourth, oh man. You know, there's Phillies fans and Phillies media that think it's getting overblown. That's not why you lost. You lost because of Nick. Nick striking out before deserves more criticism than Rojas. And I'm not even backing off of that claim. I'm with you on that. I feel that way. You pay Nick Castellanos that much money for that spot. And especially because he was doing some dirty things in the playoffs before that ugly 20-plus stretch at the plate. For him and Trey Turner to end it on that note, it is horrific. When you study and look at the fourth, though, just because Nick failed, that inning's not over. And Carroll, who's one of the better players for the Diamondbacks, was not popping off this series. It took him until Game 7, and he was on the bags, running around the diamond. They were very active. Hell, Ranger Suarez, a lefty's on the bump. They're taking off on first movement. They should have had him out. Bryce Harper threw it just a tad too high, but that's how aggressive that team was. Carroll flipped the switch. He's getting hits all around. He's getting the sac fly. He was unreal in Game 7. Sometimes someone else has to step up when those guys go quiet. And if that happens to fall on a Game 7, then so be it. That's when it happens. And whether the next guy who steps in my scenario fails or not, Jake Cave, Pache, it's not about that. It's just maximizing the moment. Did you do everything you possibly could to succeed based on the roster? Yeah, Dave Dombrowski did not put a big bat on that bench, and Pham was an addition, and there were a lot of additions that helped out their respected teams. And if you're going to work with the Rojas in center, knowing that he doesn't contribute a lot offensively, there is something to be said about Dave Dombrowski not tweaking the roster in that specific role, and that is something that backfired on them, just like the lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. That reared its ugly head. But I don't know if they maximized the moments. They left meat on the bones. So it doesn't satisfy me. It's actually so horrific to bat Rojas there. And you know I love Ty to death. I saw Tyrone put this out there on Twitter about Nick Castellanos and what he was batting compared to Rojas, and it's ugly. I'm not debating that. Nick is a huge part of the failure. But even when it gets tough and you're on your last swing and you have someone who's not a top dog at your lineup, this game is about getting 3 outs every 9 innings. But if Rojas bats a couple times, now the other team has to get less outs than you. Once again, the advantage, you're removing it. Or, whether that's even 27-27, now it's 27-25. Maybe you were on the even playing field. Now you're giving them a free pass, a free advantage when you're looking at matchups. And by the way, I never want to see Garrett Stubbs again. I'm sorry, he can't return. You cannot do that. The backup catcher, you didn't learn? We just went through it. We were the ones that used Arcia's quotes as motivation. They put it up on the whiteboard. This was all you, Stubbies. Like, that's bad. That's bad because you just had firsthand experience knowing that you bottled up noise to go to the ballpark with and excelled. That scrappy little team did it to you. I cannot believe you let this baseball team hold you back from back-to-back World Series appearances, even if they didn't win it. And we talked about back-to-back World Series appearances. Wow. Think about that. 2 games at home, and you let that team beat you. Huh. The We'll Be Back crew, remember last year? That was fun. We'll be back. Nope. That's why you have to maximize every moment. And even though they were the underdogs last year and they lost to a better team, it hurt because I didn't know the next time I'd see it. I thought when they were up 2-0 that, well, what are the odds? We get to see it back to back. And this time, I think they would have been the favorite to win it all matched up against Texas. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. What are you going to do? All right, we'll run to the phones. But before we do, let me explain to you my experience with HelloFresh. It has changed my life so much that I have to tell you about the greatness it provides. I'm on cooking duty. I now have became the chef. Chef Brodes, what are you making? As if I'm on Chopped. I just put myself on Chopped for a second. All right, HelloFresh, they pre-portion food out for you. You go to their website. Let's start in the beginning. Chronological order here, Brodes. You go to their website, HelloFresh.com, and you can put /50Brodes for 50% off and free shipping. That's 50% off your order and free shipping. Dude, it's incredible. But you check out their menu of over 40 different selections, and it gets dropped off right at your door, already pre-portioned out on how to make it with the step-by-step pictured recipe. And it takes 5 minutes to prep. It takes 15 minutes to cook. Bada bing, bada boom. You got an awesome flatbread. I made, what was the one that I made? Oh, it was a zucchini boats, dude. It was great. Onion, pepper. Oh, it was so good. So damn good. And right now, HelloFresh saves you time. They say it just saves you time and saves you money. 25% less expensive than takeout. So that means you get a home-cooked meal on the table and money back in your pocket. Go to HelloFresh.com/50Brodes and use 50Brodes for 50% off and free shipping. It's America's #1 meal kit. Okay, let's run back to the phones from last night and get a sense of the pain. Some of these are from this morning as well. Yeah, good amount. It's actually half and half. Some from this morning, some from yesterday. And yes, that's how this worked. Okay.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck? That was not how this was supposed to happen, and they fucking let it happen. What a fucking joke. I can't believe I believe. Oh, my God. 2 at home to close out a goddamn series against these D-backs? Are you kidding me? Fuck!
It's sad. It's sad. And I understand why you believed. You were right to believe. These are the type of teams that you understand have something about them. This would be equivalent to last year's Eagles team that had a lead at halftime in the Super Bowl and went toe-to-toe with Pat Mahomes and Hurts, battled just as strong as that kid on the Super Bowl stage. Remarkable. It just sucks the one turnover happened. If they lost in the NFC Championship and didn't get to the bowl, I would have been crushed. My point is, we felt all along there was something different about that crew. And we were right to feel that way, and they eventually got to the final dance and came up just shy. This team had something similar going. So as a fan, to lay it out on the line and dive head first in believing on what this team can do, dude, when Trey was hitting 300 plus and Nick Castellanos hit 1 billion home runs in 5 games and Bryce had some big hits and JT and Bohm wasn't in a huge slump behind him, all of that was real. It fizzled out 1 game too shy. But they also couldn't meet the bright lights. The nervous energy of being home, having the pressure on you when the other team was playing with house money, they couldn't execute. And it changed the tide for a lot of them. Because Nick and Trey, the expectations were there and they folded. And it was obvious to me that in regards to patience at the plate, the jitteriness, the wanting to do the long ball thing, to swing out of their shoes every time so they couldn't pick up any pitches as soon as it left his hand. Couldn't judge it at all. Even if you can't judge it, you could probably predict if you're Nick Castellanos exactly where that ball is going, and he's still swinging. Unbelievable. But because of being down, fighting from behind, having to crawl their way back, he didn't know how to do it when the time was needed. They didn't know how to do it. It's crazy. I just can't believe it, man. It's so sickening. It's so sickening. It's just sad to say. But there's almost a part of me that is happy Game 4 happened for my own sanity. For my own sanity. Because if they lost in a different way, and it wasn't the Craig Kimbrell debacle and all that, I don't know how I would have reacted after Game 7. Because it would have been that decent amount of hate and burning upsetness and all of it mixed with how I felt at Game 4, and it would have been an overload. And even looking back, I go, wow, Game 4 really impacted me. I didn't want it to be last night plus Game 4 in one night. It wouldn't be good for my health physically. I'm talking a legitimate breakdown. While I don't know if I'd be able to hit the stop recording button because the heart starts pumping too fast. Face would have been more red than you could ever imagine. No tomato would be red enough to describe how I would look. You'd be like, where's the hat? I can't see it. Where's that red Phillies hat? Is he wearing it? I don't know. I can't tell. Sad, sad days in Philadelphia right now. Gloomy. Ew. Going to Wawa to get your coffee on these type of days. It's so sad.
Hey, Brodes. This is Eric. I'm calling from Hatboro, Pennsylvania, right outside Philly. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just listened to your pod on YouTube after the NLCS loss, and got to agree with most of your thoughts there. You know, I'm taking Rojas out in that 4th inning, and I'm putting Christian Pache or Jake Cave in. Also, Dave Dombrowski needs to go out and find 2 more bona fide starters. I'm not re-signing Nola. You might get mad at that. He proved in that game, 6, that he just can't handle the pressure. I don't care what his other 3 starts in the postseason looked like. He showed his true colors like he was in the regular season. Wheeler number 1, Ranger number 2, find 2 more bona fide starters, get rid of Craig Kimbrell, find another closer, maybe even add another good bullpen piece. Other than that, you know, let's hope that the Eagles can pull through. You know, I'm not a big Sixers guy. I'm not a big Flyers guy, but let's hope the other teams pull through for us sometime this year. Go Phils, go Birds. See you next season.
All right, I appreciate you calling in. I'm going to disagree with you on Aaron Nola, and I would bring him back. Losing him is a massive loss, and he showed me a lot this postseason. Starters have bad outings. Top starters, Justin Verlander. Remember the narrative on him forever. I would still want Justin Verlander to have the ball for me in a must-win game in the postseason, and he has a track record that's probably even worse than Aaron Nola in regards to some World Series starts and playoff starts. I'm just saying, I'm spitballing off the top of my head, but Aaron Nola last year was outrageous until he hit a wall and all that. And, you know, he's never been in that position before, never made it that long before. So naturally, it makes a lot of sense for that to happen to him last year. That's not a knock on his performance. Yeah, no, I would bring Nola back, and I'd be willing to paid nice money for it because, well, what's the difference? John Middleton is willing to spend cash. I got no problem sucking it up saying my owner's willing to pay a lot of money. People look at that as a negative, like, oh, look at your payroll. I don't care. The Mets spend a lot of money and they can't do a damn thing. The Dodgers spend a lot of money and they have the COVID year championship. All right, the Boston Red Sox are willing to spend money. The New York Yankees are willing to spend money. They're not winning championships every single season. Even with the ability to spend a lot, this team loses. And they are known as one of the most losing franchises in history. Now, a lot of that doesn't have to do with where we currently stand with the finances, but whatever, I don't care. Yeah, we do. Once again, this is all about what? Advantages. And you have an advantage. Tampa Bay Rays have figured it out. They compete with teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox in that AL East. They don't spend a damn thing. It's not about that. And I don't care. If they win a championship with the high payroll, good. Good. Now, Rob Thompson, I just also want to somewhat summarize the start of the show with him. All right? Pulling Sanchez in Game 4 was horrendous. That's why Kimbrel even went in. So Game 4 was part of Rob. The lineup construction with Bohm for a lot of games when it wasn't working was part of Rob. Not going to someone else instead of Rojas was going to be an issue, and that's on Rob. Game 6, he waved the white flag way too early for me, thinking you could live for another day. That's not Rob's best work. Rob made a lot of decisions this time around that worked, and he also made a lot of decisions this time around that backfired heavy. I think Rob Thompson has a skill set to be a very good manager, but this whole I'm going down with whatever the whole entire time, no matter what, that might be his downfall. And while I'm cool with that objective and I'm cool with that mindset and that philosophy, it can't be the Bible. You have to tweak some things. How you treated Taijuan Walker, that attitude, that edge of you're not even going to see the game. I'm sorry. Sorry, it has to be this way, but no. Well, if Bohm isn't working in the cleanup spot and other teams are adjusting, they made an adjustment mid-series. These two won't beat us. And Rob said, okay, don't worry about it. We'll just keep plugging away with Bohm for multiple games. And one home run in Game 7, I'm sorry, doesn't change the fact that maybe you're not in that predicament if you made different decisions prior. I just can't wrap my head around the other team pretty much admitting and it being so wide open to the entire world that they won't beat us. Not Kyle, not Bryce. And until they had a comfortable lead, then they started going after them more because they know there was some wiggle room. But the number one reason why they lost was your stars. But it doesn't have to be one or the other. It's one big pie chart. That's my point.
Pure heartbreak right there. I mean, where did your offense go? Where did the offense go? 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run, and I can't believe they blew this series, dude. Game 4 is going to live with me for the rest of my life. The Phillies blew a golden opportunity. It's shameful. Absolutely shameful, their at-bats. Swinging at shit. Nowhere even fucking close in the dirt. On the fucking ground. You guys are pathetic. Alright? Fucking pathetic. It's a disgrace. Boo!
I don't get how it goes from that hot to I don't know how I'm supposed to look like a baseball player standing in the batter's box. The level of extreme, the level of, oh my God, Trey Turner is back to where he was before he got a standing ovation from the crowd. But just the fact that we were ever in a position where he needed a standing ovation from the crowd is what is bothersome in its own right. Because you're getting paid a lot of money and you're a superstar. And then whatever, though, it finally did click for you and we're happy about it. And it helped push this team and put them in a position. And then when it was finally there to close the door on that said position, you were nowhere to be found again. How does it go from that to this within a matter of time? Garrett Stubbs, Don't say it's not a backup catcher thing. If we're going to praise what Bryce did in the stare down and call that just as special as the Tyronn Lue moment, there's a reason why. Because we're always going to bring that up with he was talking his talk in the clubhouse in the sanctuary that no one's allowed to hear, and it's the special plays and blah, 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 and all that crap. If we love it when it works for us, you can't just poo-poo it when it happens to the other teams because of something that comes out of the Phillies locker room. Garrett Stubbs, as the backup catcher, ran his mouth, and they paid for it. That was part of the pie chart, for sure. It was stupid. You just saw it happen. You're a little kid, and you're at the aquarium, and it says, don't touch, and you watch the kid put his hand in the tank and get bit by an alligator. And you just saw it happen. You just watched it happen. And then 3 seconds later, you do it. Come on, man. Come on. Got to be smarter. So smart that you just go to MyBookie and start looking at all these fantastic NBA odds that are popping off because the NBA is back in action. Oh, yeah, I got some money down tonight, and I'm pumped thinking about what's about to happen with my bank account. When your money's on the line, you want to choose a trusted sports book that gives you tools to win, like MyBookie. At MyBookie, it doesn't matter if your team is up or down. You can easily cash out or bet the game live to come out on the winning side. Use MyBookie for daily odds boost, same-game parlays, and take advantage of huge prize pool contests. Plus, MyBookie has a no-strings-attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quickly. Just use promo code Brodes on your first deposit and receive up to $200 in cash. That's promo code Brodes to claim your cash deposit now. There's also a MyBookie money bag. You can grab a potential Super Bowl frontrunner at long shot odds plus 38,000 Eagles Chiefs. You won't find odds like that anywhere else. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. MyBookie, promo code Brodes. All the links down below to all the sponsors are in the bio down below. All right, this was the 24 hours later pod. We'll see where this takes us. We have the Sixers tomorrow. We got the Flyers back in action at home after a couple of road games, and also we'll start to establish a winter sports schedule here, but there's no doubt that we'll have to continue talking about this because it's not going anywhere. All right, it's not going anywhere. It'll be top of my mind for a long time. And, we'll continue to break it all down and talk to you guys on the Anytime Hotline as well. So I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me tonight, and I will see you all on the next one.